Day after day, I must face a world of strangers where I don't belong. I'm not that strong.
Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy DreSays, and welcome back to the DreSays Podcast. We are officially on episode 19. Episode 19 of the DreSays Podcast. And I brought a special guest along. I brought my homegirl Steph with me. Steph, say hi.
What's up, guys? What's up? I'm excited to be on DreSays.
Right. This is different because me and Steph met online, so she doesn't know me like the previous guests that I've had on here know me. She knows me from like what we talk about online and the jokes that we crack back and forth. But I figured I would bring her on here because you guys can get a taste of people's, I don't know, I guess, the way they feel about me when they're not close friends of mine or not.
Right. Personally. So I'm going to give y'all all the dirt.
All the dirt. Okay. I mean, I'm normally upfront about my dirt, so there's probably not a lot to give, but your insight, from what I can tell so far, the things that you notice about me are different than most people do.
Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all how Dre slid into the DMs, what he says.
Okay. So we started off this podcast lying. All right, cool.
I'm kidding.
How did we meet though? How did we even click online?
We talk about this all the time and we can never figure it out, right? It's either you followed me or I followed you. But I think I started, so I have an Instagram fashion page, and I just started posting clothes in like the beginning of September during quarantine. And I probably was like looking for people to follow when I found you.
Ooh.
But I feel like we clicked right away because, right? Like, I feel like it was instantaneous. Like I started DMing you, I started reposting you off of the stuff that you'd posted, right?
Right, because I talk a lot of shit.
You do talk a lot. I like that.
No, I noticed, and that's what I noticed too. So I don't follow a lot of people. Like I follow people back, but it's normally people that I know. Like literally especially on my personal page. I mean, if you go to the brand page, it's a totally different story. We don't really follow a lot of people back on that brand page unless we know you, or unless we have business together. Just because filtering through all of that, like we like to make sure we check for our friends and make sure we like their stuff and follow their pages before anything. So, on my personal page, I really it's mostly just people that I know. So I'm pretty sure I saw your follow and I was like, all right, who's this? And then I looked at your page and I started thumbing through and I started liking stuff. And literally like 20 minutes into it, I'm like, damn, I don't like 15 photos. I look like a creep right now. Like I said, so let me
I'm gonna go ahead and follow her.
Right, let me follow back.
I'm a creep.
Right. Let me follow back. But I monitored. I made sure to monitor too, to be like, let me see if she actually posts. Because on my personal page, if I go to your page and you haven't posted in like 3 weeks, I'm unfollowing you. I don't care who you are.
Right.
You could be my mama. I'm gonna unfollow you because at this point it's just taking up space on my timeline for me to like my friends' photos and other businesses.
Yeah, and to vet out people that you don't have any common interest with.
For sure. And it's crazy because I would post things, I post a lot of stuff about relationships, even though I don't know shit about relationships.
Me either. Right. So that's our commonality, right?
Exactly.
We're both single and both of our followings.
Right. And I noticed that you would repost them and I was like, oh, okay. Or like you would post like snippets of our conversations that were hilarious. Yes. And I was like, okay, so I fucks with her. And then I think that's when I was like, you know what? She would be the first person I would ask that doesn't know me. Like I've had my sisters on here. I've had my nieces and nephews, had my business partner. I have a couple friends that are coming up in the 2021 episodes that are good friends of mine, but like not anybody that like I click with that I don't know wholeheartedly.
Right.
So I felt like that was a good thing. And we talked about it and we said, maybe we're trying to figure out what we could talk about. And the common denominator was
we both ain't shit.
Pretty much. That's what it comes down to.
No, we're both ain't shit. We're probably a couple of years apart, but we're both like single. We both notice the same things when it comes to like a relationship and dating and just like social circles and things like that. So
and what we are and aren't gonna do.
Right. No, and the crazy part is like both of our followings. I know that my following, they always ask me about relationship advice, and I'm always like, I ain't in a relationship, but it's not gonna stop me.
It's not gonna stop me from giving you my advice.
Right.
I still think you should take heed to what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we were talking about it the other day. Remember we were talking about being able to be friends with the opposite sex. And
right.
that's like a
I said yes, right?
yeah,
I said yes, and
and
you
I
said
said
no.
no. I said no.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said no is
So,
because let me clarify. I said no because it's hard to be in a relationship and have close friends that are of the opposite sex. And I'm speaking from experience because a lot of my friends are females. So for me to be in a
mo-
relationship,
so I have good friends that are male, right?
okay,
Like I have a best friend that's a male. The thing is, though, is like you have to from the person who's like, I'm single, so I have nothing to hide, right?
right.
But from the other person's perspective, is like you got to be legit, like transparent with your spouse. Like you're not, then it's just a weird communication. But I don't see anything wrong with it. Like I don't see like I always like being friends with males because you see a different perspective of every situation. You know what I mean? Like before I jump off the deep end, let me holler at my boy and see how he feels about it, right? Or what his perspective is.
See, that
The only
causes
thing that gets
problems
tricky
though.
is like the only time that gets tricky is like more times than not. I'm telling you because I have like one or two best guy friends, but like more times than not, it's like they're like I become such a homie. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like it leads beyond more to that. But I think that's a line that they cross that they don't have to cross.
So okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So two things. One, the main problem for me with it, especially like the type of man that I am, is I've talked to you about this before. I pride myself on being a man's man and wanting to be a provider and all this other stuff. But
Right.
that doesn't just go for the girls that I date. It also goes for my female friends. So a couple of my female friends have told me like, well, the problem is that you treat your female friends as you do your woman.
Right.
As far
And
as
that is that's
and
only
that's
a
a
problem
problem.
to your woman.
Correct. That's what I mean. So that's where I'm
Right.
saying that's where that would be an issue. And to touch on what you were talking about, where you said like, oh, they cross that line, and that's there's a line they don't have to cross. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Most of those men have mentally crossed that line when they first met you. They just never own up to it.
I hear that and from a like a physiological standpoint, that's probably true, right?
Of
Not
course,
just for me, but for any woman, right?
of
For any
course.
like opposite pairings. But it's almost like you get to a situation where you have such a built up relationship, like you have common interest or you could joke around or whatever. For me, I never crossed that line because
Because you're a
when
woman.
I put someone in the friend zone, which is terrible,
See,
right? When
see,
you
see,
no, but when you put
see.
it for me, for as a woman, like when you put a guy into the friend zone, you like that's where you're gonna stay. I mean, it's got to be something crazy for you to get out of the friend zone because I didn't told you some shit. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, so it ain't gonna be like I probably told you some shit about like bad sexual relationships or you know what I
Right,
mean? Like we've shared
right.
so much. Like I'm not finna,
But so
you
this is
know.
the thing. But this is the thing. A lot of, and this is why I tell females when they're like, "Yo, like, I like when women are like, oh, I like to hang out with men more than women." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yo, listen, you got to watch that though because I don't care what no man tells you." And I tell all my female friends this: at some point, they were attracted to you. If y'all are close, especially if y'all are close and for some years and for a while, at some point they wanted to go further than where you wanted to go.
Mm.
I'm
But I
telling
think
you.
it's no, but it doesn't.
Unless he doesn't like women,
No, stop it.
I'm
I
just
feel
saying
like
at some point he wanted to take that further.
but okay, fair enough. But I think that and when it's not reciprocated, it subsides, and you kind of get into that. Like, wouldn't you get into that? All right, I'm just cool being her friend, and that's all I'm.
So the time I'll be honest with you, when I get to the point where I'm like, I'm cool just being her friend, is because she's probably done some shit that totally has turned me the fuck off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we friends, like, I probably told you some shit. Like, I probably told you some shit about,
Yeah.
like I said, about relationships or views or viewpoints. But it's almost like for as a woman, like there's things that a friend can tell you, and you like, oh, you my friend, so I'm not tripping because I don't have to live with you.
Right.
I'm not sleeping with you, right?
Right. Right.
But like, so I mean, for me, I do think that you can be friends. For y'all, I don't. You know what I mean? I
Different,
don't.
but see, it's different for men too because a lot of the other thing with that too is that a lot of women that I know that have male friends that have crossed that line and have decided to date them, they're always
It
terrified because they're
never
like,
works out.
A, it never works out. B, they feel like I'm gonna ruin my friendship. I'm gonna ruin my friendship. And I think it's different for men. I think we could care less. Like, I think
wouldn't it be fucking terrible? For me, it's like, wouldn't it be fucking terrible if I have such a good rapport with this person, and then like the sex sucks. Like, how, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, right, right.
how could you go back to being friends? Like,
Yeah.
so I just don't even
I mean,
cross
you
that
could,
line.
but that would be easier for men because we would just be like, oh yeah, like, nah, I'm good. Like, that's the homie.
No,
That's
it's easier
family.
for
Like,
men for that report, but
yeah,
like
because we'd be
as a
like, yeah, that
woman,
if we were like, yo,
yeah,
the sex sucks with her, like, we will never try to be with you. I'm gonna keep
right.
it real. Just because men are
I
such
agree,
sexual
but
creatures.
for a woman, if the sex sucks, we got to be like,
Because
but
sex
he's so
means more to you
cool.
guys than it does us, to be honest with you. Like,
It
it's a
means
deeper
more.
it's not means more, it's a deeper connection for you guys. At least in my eyes. I feel like when it comes to men and sex, and I have this argument all the time with my female friends, when it comes to men and sex, especially when like they talk about men cheating and all that stuff, like I don't condone cheating. I've never cheated before in my life, but I understand sometimes because sex for us is literally
I
sex.
understand sometimes.
It's literally just sex. It's
Huh?
literally like I'm just trying to bust a nut and be done, and that's it. Like
Yeah,
we
that's a
don't.
whole other conversation. I don't think we have time for that topic. Like,
But you understand what I'm saying? Like it's not a. It's for us. It's not. I don't think it's as deep of a connection. Like
so
when we talk, like when you talk about men and women cheating, like well, really quickly, like I just want to, like when you talk about men and women cheating, um, I think it always hurts a little bit more when women cheat because we know that there's
it's an
probably
emotional thing.
correct. There's more emotions
Yeah,
behind it than there are
yeah.
on men.
Yeah, like when a man cheats, I get that because again, like I said, I have a lot of male friends,
Right.
and I have male friends tell me like sex is totally completely different from commitment. Like
A
they see
hundred
sex
percent.
as like, but for a woman, it's not like,
I know, I know. And like I said,
you
I
know what
don't
I mean? Like,
condone it. I don't condone it. I just know there's a difference. I don't condone it
yeah,
at all. I've not, like again, I've never cheated. I've never had a reason to. If I'm gonna cheat, I'm just gonna fucking leave you. Like
me too.
I'm not gonna try to do all these maneuvers to not get caught and then finally get fucking caught and then I gotta deal with all the backlash that's no.
From
No.
both parties,
Exactly.
right?
Hell nah. Hell nah. So okay, so you believe that men and women can be best friends and that's it.
Completely. It's just men are shady. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna lie. It's like, so I have a good male friend, right? Like I
Right.
have a good male friend, and okay, disclosure, we had sex 20 years ago though, 30 years ago though, before we were ever close friends. We had
Okay.
sex like, because we had sex like in high school, and
I'm
it
not
just didn't work. It just didn't work. Like we both agreed it didn't work, right?
okay.
And years later we met, and
Yeah.
he's now married and like has kids and whatever, and we have a great relationship. Like he and I have a great relationship. We have um I talk to him about most things, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if it's something critical, I will go and run it past him to just to see what the male perspective is, right?
Right.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's okay. We'll cut the
Okay.
back. Cut the background.
So, but the crazy part for me is I don't judge anybody and how they run their relationship. That's on you, right? Like
Right.
I'm totally transparent. I'm always like, bring your girl. Like we could all have drinks together, but he won't,
It
right?
ain't that
He
simple. It
like
ain't that
she knows who
simple.
you are. Like it would be a bad thing. And I'm almost like, what does that mean? Like I'm not fucking you. Like we're not
So
fucking.
this is what I mean where I say every man has had that moment or that thought of like, nope, this could be more. Like I would kind of want more from this person. And even though you've solidified it, like, no, this is not what it's gonna be, he may not want to bring his woman around you because he knows his woman knows him enough to notice the looks that he's giving you or how chummy y'all are. She knows his vibe. It may be something you overlook because he's just a homie to you.
I mean, I guess I always think that. Like, I always think like I've been in relationships where I've been in a relationship where I've told this to my guy, right, my boyfriend
Yeah.
or whatever, and he's like, "If don't you feel like if she doesn't know who you are, then there's more feelings?" I'm like, no, because I mean, we're talking about like a 20-year friendship. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and when I would tell you that I've never crossed the line, like we've never like we've been to dinner, but there's never been any hand holding. There's never been any like
Was he
weird sexual joke. You know
was
what I
he
mean?
was he
It's
married
just
before you was he married before you guys became close?
yeah, look, yeah, like we like I said, we dated, we whatever high school kids do, right?
Yeah.
And then a span of time like 10 years went by and where we didn't see each other, our paths just didn't cross. And then we found each other again, and he happened to still live in the same like hometown as I.
Now he's married. But now he was
But
married.
now he's married. He has kids. I
Uh,
respect that. Like that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. So
It's
when
just,
I like,
well, I
you know,
asked that
I called
because
him.
it's if he wasn't married yet and you guys were best friends and then he met his wife and she knew you as the best friend going into it, I think it would be easier.
For sure. But what I'm saying is it's still not a hard thing. Like I'm always like, bring your girl. Like, yeah, we can go have dinner. Like, you know, we can go have drinks. We can meet up. Like, bring her. I don't care
So
because
let me ask you a question.
yeah,
If you were married
yeah,
and your man came
I would have a
home,
problem.
let me
But that's why I say I
right.
don't
So
judge what
if
people.
your man came home, it was like, hey, I ran into this girl I went to high school with.
Yeah.
We cooling now, and then 3 months later, he's like, "Yeah, we're like best friends now." What would you be like? God damn it, hell
Hey,
nah.
hey, like I said, I don't judge people for what they do in their relationship. Like for me, I'm like, look, if she were ever to meet me, she would know. Like I just don't
Right,
give off that vibe, right? But if the shoe were on the other, like I'm pretty like if I'm in a relationship, I'm committed to that relationship, right? Like if I'm in that relationship, my man is the only person that gets to tell me what to do or what not to. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
my man is the only one that has those privileges of like who I see and what I don't see. And if he doesn't like something, he's the only one where I would take into consideration his feelings, right? I'm talking about like, you know, someone you're serious about, not someone you're dating. But
Yeah,
I can't judge that for other people. So like I tell him, like, honestly, like I tell him, like, that's just weird, right? Like, but if my man told me, like, if my man told me, like, you can't be friends with homeboy anymore because it makes me uncomfortable, I would number one try and salvage my friendship and be like, why don't you just come hang out with us? Like, I mean, once you see it, it's not like that. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
it's really not like that. But
Listen, I have a friend. It's so crazy as you said that because I have a female friend who I've known since like junior high. She is now married, but before she was married, her dude moved from New York City to Rochester, which is like a 6 hour difference. And I remember her saying, "Yo, you should meet him. I think you guys would get along well." And I clearly was like, "No, he probably thinks I'm trying to fuck you. There's no way. I'm not hanging out with him."
yeah,
She
but wouldn't you want to? Like,
what
wouldn't you want to? Like, well,
keep
not you,
going.
but like the dude,
Right.
like
So
the
this is
boyfriend.
let me finish. So she asked him the exact same thing, and he was like, "No, this motherfucker's probably trying to fuck you." Literally like that. The funny part about it is we finally did hang out. And I don't
And it
know,
was chill.
7 years later, he's actually one of my closest friends in the world.
See what I'm saying? So
But
that's
that's
the
a
thing.
rarity. That's like a
No,
one in
but
a
it shouldn't
million.
be. It shouldn't be because if I have a male best friend, he's a priority in my life. And if you're my man, you're a priority in my life. And I don't want to sever the ties to my friendship. Like, I don't
Mm.
want to lose my friend over a dude that I don't know if it's going to work out, right? Like,
I'll be honest, if me and Rob, that's his name is Rob, if me and Rob weren't so much alike, that shit would have never panned out. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
but I'm saying you got to listen to me though,
Right.
right? Like, wouldn't you, as the person in the middle, like, so as you in the middle, wouldn't you want to salvage your relationship with your friend and also salvage the relationship with your boyfriend and be like, your girlfriend, for your case, like, let's go meet, you know what I mean? If after dinner you still feel like he trying to fuck me, then
Yeah. Yeah, I
I'll,
mean, I guess so. It's just I don't know. It's different for men, I guess.
that's what it's
For
called
me,
being an
it's more
adult.
of a for men, it's more of a primal like testosterone driven property kind of thing, which is horrible, but it's the fucking truth. It's like don't you dare walk across this line. You know what I mean? For men, that's how we see it. Like, don't
No,
it's
I do agree. Like if you have a male friend, if you have a female friend, like if you and I were dating and you like, oh yeah, my homegirl Susie, that's my best friend. I'm like, oh, that's our best friend. That's what it would have to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so tell Susie she can
that's where a
come.
lot of my problems lie too when it comes to relationships because I'll be like, oh yeah, my homegirl this, oh my homegirl that, my homegirl, and they'll be like, yo, who the fuck are these homegirls? Like,
Yeah, that I mean, you have to when you're in a relationship, you got to be transparent, right? Like that's the thing is like we live in a society where it's either too much, like you see too much of a couple, where you're like this shit is so fake, right? Or
yo,
somebody always trying to hide somebody, right?
yeah,
You got to be
I thoroughly believe people should have separate lives. Like, you should have separate
right.
lives and then one that comes
Yeah, like
together. Like,
the worst is when one of your friends has like a joint Instagram account or a joint Facebook account. That's just like
Where
Somebody,
they're
when
on
I
there
see
wearing
that,
matching outfits?
no, when I see that, I'd be like, somebody cheated because ain't no way. But that's also, no, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the matching outfits because I got a friend. I told you I was going to tell you about this. But so I have a friend who has a wife, girlfriend, whatever, baby mama. They have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And they are forever in matching outfits, like ever.
No.
But I noticed that it's usually driven by her. Like she posts it and she tags him. And I hate insecure women that tags, like it'll be like brushing my teeth with Dre, going to the car with Dre, getting coffee with Dre. And it's almost like,
no, I would
bro,
delete your Instagram.
but Dre never tags her. Dre is never like at the dry cleaners with Steph. You know what I mean?
Right,
And it's just so transparent. I wonder. That's probably why I'm single, because I don't do shit like that.
Annoying. That's so annoying. It's annoying to the point where, first of all, if I do like, if we're not, first of all, if we're not dating and we're not serious, and I do something nice for you, unless you ask me, don't just tag me in some shit, because you don't know what's going on in my fucking life. Like,
right.
maybe
But you
I
shouldn't
don't
be
want
doing
the
nice
world.
things for people if you have something going on in your life.
No. I mean, like, maybe I don't want you telling everybody that I'm doing this shit for you, because I don't want future people that I might be talking to expect the same thing. Maybe I do something for you because you deserve it, versus the next woman I'm dating thinking, well, he'll just do that for me too. You know what I'm saying? It's not everything. Everything
I'm
doesn't
gonna
have to.
I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Everything doesn't have to be on Front Street. That's my major thing. Everything doesn't have to be on Front Street. Like, I remember my business partner when he had his first kid, he was like, yeah, I told her 3 pictures max in the first couple of months of the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
because everything doesn't have to be thrown up Front Street. Like, if I do something nice for you as a person and we're just starting to date, maybe I'm not going to do that for the next person. So I don't need you tagging me on that on Instagram where it's there forever until you decide to delete it.
Well, I just think that people just need to gauge the relationship. Like, it's hard for me now as like someone who's been in a long-term relationship and I feel like I'm a little jaded, right? So now I refuse. Like, I've been broken up with my ex for God, like 8 years now, right?
Right.
But I have not posted another man, not because of anything like that, but because you like, this one might not last, so I'm not gonna look stupid. But I've been friends with women on Instagram, like in the like 4 years I've known them, they've been like in
Like
love,
30.
broken up, been in love again, found their soulmate, like, and you're like, bruh, why don't you give it some time? You know what I mean? Like, it's cool.
Yo, and
But yeah,
man, speaking of, I literally just made a post today of that said, if you are newly single, do not bother your single friends. You are like a 90-day, 90-day to a year probationary period before you can bother us to go do some shit or to go out and like hang out and shit like that, because we don't believe you yet. Like,
right.
unless you've been single
That's
for a
true.
while, because some people are single for like 2 weeks. And they're like, I'm free. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. And then 2 weeks later, they back boot up, and everything that they've done in that time looks bad on you to their significant other, because you were the one
Yeah,
with them while they were doing
you
that.
the one that was trying to break them up.
Exactly.
You're the one that was trying to hook her up again.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
No, I've been there. I mean,
So,
I haven't been there. Like, I don't believe in rebound relationships. I don't believe in like, so when I broke up with my ex, I wasn't the one that was like out in the club trying to outdo him. Like, I wasn't that person. So
right.
in that regard, I feel like I'm a rare breed, but I see that all the time. Like, when a woman breaks up with their, especially if it's long term, or especially if she's like, but some women just don't learn their lesson. I feel like, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
don't know, man. It's different. For me, it's definitely weird because and please, to all my exes that watch this, because I know y'all do. I've seen the likes and all that shit. Don't take this next comment offensive, but when I'm single is when I'm the most productive.
that's true.
So for me, it may come off that way. Like, some people may see it that way. Like, some of my exes probably see it that way. But I'm not trying to outshine you. I'm not trying to do you. I just literally am the most productive person I can be when
Nah,
I
it's not
don't
being
have to
productive.
worry about someone else.
It's stunting. Like, when a guy tries to stunt on you, because that's happened to me. Is like, y'all break up, and all of a sudden he's in a new whip, or he's in
Oh,
like
man.
the club, or he's showing off his watch. And the person. The crazy part is, whoever you trying to stunt, like whoever you trying to floss to. Do y'all still say floss?
What, on
Like,
the East Coast?
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess
like,
so.
yeah, whoever you trying to outshine knows you. Like, bro, we know you outside of social media, so you not. I mean, you not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're not impressing me. I know the deal.
Right. Or
I
we
know
see
that
through
car in
that.
your I know that car in your mama name, and
Right. Or like,
I
we
know
know
you
that's a
lease that
rental. Stop
jewelry.
it.
Like,
You know what I mean? We know your boy works at the club. That's how you got in. You know what I mean? But
and that's the other thing. Like, that's the crazy part to me when people try to flaw shit like that. Like, I'm the opposite. Like, if I get into the club, like when we used to go out in Miami, we go to Dream. I would always post some shit and be like, shout out to DJ 360. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Joe for getting me in and not having to pay. Shit like that. Yeah, I don't understand what's the deal with all this. This got to be the new age shit. Like, where kids just want to be
in
like,
the Bay
I
is the
spent
worst. It'd
I
be
spent
like,
thousands on this. Like, why though? I
no,
want the
but in
best
the
deal
Bay, it'd be the
possible.
worst because everybody, and like I said, it's been a minute because, we've been in quarantine for a year, but
Right.
it'll be like 36 motherfuckers that got a table, right?
Hell no.
Everybody got the
Hell
same
no.
Bel Air bottle and y'all taking turns. You know
Right.
what I mean? Y'all taking turns flossing with the Bel Air bottle and we all looking at y'all like, so y'all want 150 on each table? Like,
That's
there's
how
36 of y'all. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how
not
niggas get
36,
corona.
but
That's how
right,
niggas get
right.
corona.
Not 36, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
know what you're saying though, and I've seen that before. I've seen that in the clubs multiple times.
it's
It'd be like two
terrible.
bottles with 12 people. Like, come on now.
Right, but
Like, it ain't
but everybody got to get a picture with the bottle.
with the same bottle. Yeah,
Right.
with the same bottle.
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
I'll definitely say
I'm
that.
too old for that.
Okay, so you're cool with being friends with the opposite sex, right?
I am.
Okay,
I think it's a productive thing.
would you ever? How do you feel about dating like a friend? So someone that was a friend first, and then going into a relationship scenario with them.
It depends on the caliber of friendship. I honestly think that that's the best relationships, right? Like when
Right.
you establish a friendship first, right? But I'm old school, so it's different. But
But
it
does it
just
have to
depends
be
on
a
the maturity.
friendship with an intent to date?
Uh, Say that question again.
So does it have to be a friendship with an intent to date? So for me, I'm cool with it, but I need to know off jump. Like, yeah, we cool, but the purpose of this friendship is to become more. Now, if we just homies and then it just ends up that and there was never any intent for it to be that, I'm gonna be more leery to that.
I think there's like a baseline that you get past, right? So if there's a I don't know, like I feel like if I start telling you shit about my personal life, or if I start telling you shit that I wouldn't tell a normal friend, that's that's almost like you've crossed the line of me dating you because then you know too much, right? But
What?
I feel like if you meet someone and you hit it off and you cool and you have like great vibes and then you did, I don't know. I mean,
Steph,
that's a good question.
what sense does that make? Steph, what do you mean you know too much? Isn't that what you shouldn't your partner know you? That's the
I
thing I
don't
never
know.
understood. Like, I know a lot of women that are like
I mean, I
they'll
think there's a point where you know too much. You know what I mean? Like you know too much. Like like okay. So I don't. This is the crazy shit. Like I'm trying to not say because I don't know who's gonna listen to this. I don't know who's gonna take offense to this. But like,
listen,
if
if they take offense,
I would say
they being soft.
I was in a relationship where I liked everything about this person, but the sex was fucking terrible,
Right.
right? And so like, if I tell you that, like, if I tell you things like that, like that's the past the point of like me dating you. I feel like then we just homies. Like
Nah.
we should. Nah,
Why?
I don't know.
I would rather you tell me that. So this is the thing. I'd rather you tell me so that I know what I'm getting into. Like, if you tell me like, yo, this every time we would hook up, this motherfucker would do this and I hated it. Now I know. And I know going forward that if we do get to that point, I'm not gonna do that thing.
Man,
I just
I
think like
guess
when
it
you're
makes sense. It's just for me. It's like there's a certain point. I don't know what I don't. There's no like specific point. So there's no like if it gets to this point, he's undateable. It's just it gets to a point where you're like too comfortable, and then you don't want to risk the relationship. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I get that. I mean, so you're basically saying what it sounds like you're saying is that if he knows too much embarrassing shit about you.
not embarrassing, not for me per se, but
Right.
just like personal shit. Like if I feel comfortable enough to tell you personal shit, is like I don't want, and it's more of like the fear of like losing that friend because like we vibe so well that I'm comfortable in telling you about these things, right? Like
Right,
I
right.
don't want us to. It is never like I don't want us to date because now you know all my secrets. It's like I don't want us to date and then not work out, and then I just lost my homie like that I used to go
So
to.
I will say this. I used to be totally against this. I used to be like, hell no, you'll lose good friendships, all this other shit. it's not good for anybody. You know what I'm saying? You'll have somebody you can confide in, somebody that you love being around, and then if shit doesn't work out, then everything goes left and you don't have that anymore. I was like
Right.
that until about the age of 35, 36. Because then I started
So
realizing once
so
I get
last
into
year.
no, I'm about to be 38 years old. That's like 3 years ago.
So
So
like last year.
so I was against it until that point, and then I started to realize, like, if I ever do get to the point where I want to be in a relationship again, that's the last one. So it doesn't matter. Like I don't plan on leaving this person once I decide to getting in a relationship again, because at the age of 30, 38, 39, like I'm not trying to date. I'm not trying to date and then see how it goes. Like, no, this person needs to be the right person if I'm going to settle down.
See, I mean, I feel like I everyone I date, like I'm not like a serial dater. You know what I mean?
All
Like,
right.
so like anyone, I mean, I might go out for a couple of drinks and feel you out, right? Like I don't just
Right.
meet someone and I'm in a relationship with them. But
Right.
like
Right.
if like I get to a point where like that's my dude, that's my man, whatever, it's like obviously I always, for women, well, at least for me, it's always with the intent of like, I see marriage with this person. I see like
Right.
longevity with this person. Do you know what I'm saying?
And we've had two different dating paths because we talked about it very quickly.
Right.
But like
Right.
you've done long stretches. Like you were married for a while. You have, you know, what I mean,
Very long.
you
Yeah.
have children. Like
Right.
for myself, I was date, not dating for a very long time. Date, not dating for a very long time. So like I've gone on 5, 6 year stretches without dating someone, but dated
Yeah.
3 people within 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
it's a
Mm.
different scenario. And I feel like it's that way with men and women in general. Like we kind of go about it two different ways. Where
I
women
guess.
women think like longevity. Well, you guys start thinking longevity a lot sooner than we do.
It
So,
depends on what age the woman is. I feel like the older the woman, we don't. Because honestly, to be
well, no,
honest
because
with
you
you,
guys
like,
mature before us and then get tired of our bullshit. I know how it works. Like,
yeah, I feel like older, like in my older years, so I'm 43, right?
right,
I know that's crazy, but I'm 43. So like, I don't really take men seriously. Like because I've seen so much bullshit. I really don't like, you really got to be something special. But like, every man is like, I'm trying to take care of you. I'm trying to like, but like, you got to walk the walk. And even if you walk the walk, like,
yeah, that's hilarious. That's
right,
hilarious. I don't
I'm
take that
dead serious.
seriously,
So
but
I bet you,
I understand why. I'm not. That's why I'm laughing because I. It's crazy. Like men don't like to admit the shit, but we sit back and watch other men and realize how much bullshit we be on. Like,
so when I was younger, these are like the like these are the like role reversals I noticed, right? So I noticed like when we're younger, like in our 20s, in our teens, in our 20s and 30s, is like the guy that's like, oh, I don't want a relationship. Like, yeah, I want to just date. Like, we cool. Like, we're cool where we are. Like, why do we got to push this relationship issue, right? So for me, dating, first of all, dating as a single mom, dating as a mother, right? And
right,
also like just dating as a woman who's had some experience. Now I'm at to the point where I'm like, full disclosure, like when you come into a relationship with me, let me know what it is that you're looking for so that I
right,
can tell you if it's within my like realm. Do you know what I
right.
mean? Like
Are you
I'm
in my
not like,
wheelhouse or
and I
not?
yeah, and I'll be completely honest with dudes. Like, it's cool. Like, we could date. Like, we could, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not. I don't want a relationship. And in the beginning, guys will be like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I don't want to. No, it's cool. Like, I got other shit going on. But then, like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a month into it, is like, where are you at? And I'll be like, oh, I'm not there. But who the fuck you with? Like, sir, hold on, please. Like, or they'll say shit like, if you was, I mean, see, that's why we're not together. Because if you was my woman, I'm like, but I'm not. So back that up. You know what I mean? Like, and
So
then I feel like guys get more emotionally attached. And it's not even like I'm doing anything, but again, you not my man. So I'm not gonna tell you I'm at the dry cleaners. I'll just be like, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, or I'm having lunch with a friend. What friend? Like,
what I
you know
think
what I mean?
what I think happens is we be on our bullshit when we're younger.
Yeah.
You
So y'all
guys
feel
you
like
guys
we would be
mature.
on the same shit y'all on.
Right. So y'all mature a lot sooner than us when we're younger. So y'all like I'm ready for commitment. I'm ready to make this family thing happen. I'm ready to grow something in life. And we be on our bullshit. Then y'all get to the point where y'all just be like, well, fuck it.
Fuck it.
I'm tired of it. Now I'm gonna be on my bullshit. Like, and it's not always bullshit. Y'all, it's not bullshit. Y'all just be tired of this shit. Like, so I get it.
Or
like,
you just want full disclosure, because a lot of relationships fail. My relationship failed because there was no disclosure, right? It's almost like I said, it's always like, give me a choice. Like, whatever happens in the relationship, give me a choice. If me and you date and you just want to be my booty call, tell me, like, in the beginning, so that I can make that choice. If I just want to be your booty call and we agree on that, cool, right? But like, it's like people play this game like, oh, you my only one, you the one, and then you know, and then what it does is it causes, for me, to like, what I've found is like, it causes unrealistic expectations, right? Like,
for sure.
For both sides, whoever is on. But for me as a woman, I want, if I get into a relationship with you and you not looking for a relationship, like if you say, Steph, I'm not really looking, I just got out of one, you know, you cool, but whatever. If I choose to continue to entertain you, or if I choose to continue to date you, that's a choice that I made knowing that you said that. That's not saying that something can't transpire and we end up together, you know what I mean? But it's like, I can't be mad if I see Dre posting himself in the club with another girl because he just said, and I agreed to it. And people don't do that. You know what I mean? If you just agree to it, I'm dead serious. That's how I feel.
I just want every female that I deal with or I have dealt with in the last year or two to listen to what the fuck you just said. I'm going to probably replay that shit, rewind it, play it back, just because I've said it multiple times that even my female friends would be like, Dre, it doesn't matter if you tell them that. They have a thought of what they want in their mind, but that's not my problem.
That's not your problem. Like, whatever you built in your mind is not, but it's also, but see, maybe you're different because a lot of guys don't. Like, a lot of guys just, I don't even know if they intentionally want to like lead you on. It's just they just be scared to lose you.
I'm 100%
or they just be scared.
Honest. I have a whole
and you should be.
I have a whole episode that says I need more than one, and I was talking about women. Like, there's no bullshit behind anything that I say. It's you're either going to be okay with it or you're not, but I'm not going to lie to you about it no matter what.
Right. And you got to be honest with yourself. Like, okay, this motherfucker just told me he needs more than one. But a lot of women hear that and it's like, oh,
I can be that one. Right. Yes, I can be that one. And don't get me wrong. There's a couple in this world and they know who they are, that for years we've been whatever, friends or whatever, or getting to know each other, and they probably could be that one. But when I'm talking about just meeting people and shit like that, like, if we don't have a solid foundation, you're not going to convince me that you're the only person for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You just got to understand, like, you got to lay ground rules. Like, people don't lay ground rules in relationships now. I feel like, you know, people have this expectation of like, I can change him or I can change her, or my shit is so good that he's going to want to stay home, or, you know, I can provide for her so much that why would she need anything else? But it's like, we're not listening to each other, and he just told you or she just told you. So for me, it's always like that disclosure, and then it's like that choice you make. And a lot of people are fucking, like, they don't take accountability for their choices. Like, if you make the choice, if you make the choice to stay in a relationship with someone who says they don't want monogamy, then you can't cry and be like, well,
you can, but who the fuck's gonna listen to you? Because you knew better.
You're right.
But you know, you had touched on something else too, like through that conversation that I wanted to talk to you about, because I need your opinion on some shit. So you were saying about dating as a single mom, as a single mother. I date single mothers. You know what I mean? At this, you know, once you get to a certain age, it's hard to find somebody that doesn't have a child. So I date single mothers. So I have to ask you, from the other side of this, what is it like to date as a single mom?
I feel like
day after day, I must face a world of strangers where I don't belong. I'm not that strong.